Hey guys, Chad here with Midlife Classic Cars. So I finally went after a life goal of mine, and that's to get into racing. I've been a car guy my whole life. Ever since I was a little kid, my dad said he had Austin Healey 3000 that didn't have an engine that in it or that ran, and he told me if I could replace the engine, I could drive it. He was being a bit of a smart ass. Next thing you know, I was driving an Austin Healey 3000 as my first car. Now this is before they blew up in price. This was probably about a $6,000 to $8,000 car back in the day, but that was one of my first cars was an Austin Healey 3000 simply because my father kind of dared me to get it back running. Ever since then, I've just always been in love with classic cars. I've been in love with racing. My father took me to a lot of vintage races when I was a kid, and it stuck with me. I mainly grew up watching road racing, even though I was like a couple miles from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but like road racing has always been my thing. I've been to Le Mans for the 24 hours Le Mans race. Endurance racing is probably one of my favorite things. I've been to the Daytona 24, 12 hours of Sebring. Oh, did I get that backwards? I don't know. Someone called me on that. I think I got that one correct. But yeah, racing is just my thing. I have an iRacing set up in my house. And when I was younger, I wanted to get into racing. And I had this stupid realization that two wheels cost less than four wheels. So that got me into motorcycle racing and doing track days. My actual track bike's actually sitting behind the legend car here. So that's where I ended up. I've always wanted to be a race car driver. And, unfortunately I had a bad wreck in my life that I shattered all my ribs and my organs went up my chest. I almost died from that. And that kind of delayed me racing. And even then I didn't think I was going to have a chance to ever go racing after that. That was about 5 to 6 years ago. And just the time and circumstances showed me that like now's the time for me to do it. I don't want to have something I'm look back on life and regret, and becoming a race car driver is one of them. So what I was going to talk about in this video is my steps to getting going racing. And clearly, as you see behind me, I'm going legend car, and we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, like this is the way I decided to go. First of all, I want to introduce you to my best friend, Lucas here. He's named after two of my favorite things. Lucas Electronics, the Prince of Darkness. If you don't know, those are who made electronics for British cars back in the days. And then his middle name's Skywalker, so it's Lucas Skywalker. So my two favorite things are cars and Star Wars. So he's joining me. And I kind of want to just have him in this video because he's 13. His legs are filling him like a lot of old boys do. And he's been a good one. I just wanted him to be in the video for me. I don't think he's going to be with me much longer. And I just wanted him to hang out with me today. So why I decided to go legend racing. What happened is I'm a big YouTube fan. I watch a lot of automotive YouTube. I've pretty much stopped watching network TV just to watch YouTube. I haven't paid for their premium service, so I don't have to watch ads. And there's a couple YouTubers, they say things and it gets to me. One is Taylor Ray Drifts. I'm not really a big drift guy. I like going to drift events, but drifting is not really my thing. But watching his video, he always talked about seat time and having a seat time car, a car that's ready to go and ready to get on the track. I watched him, and there's another gentleman. I'm going to butcher his name. I'm not going to say it, but he's Italian, and he races these in Europe at road racing. So, I mean, the racing over there with the legend cars or road races is just insanely exciting. And so what it came to me was I wanted a car that I could get as much seat time as possible. And living here in Greensboro, North Carolina, growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, but now I live in Greensboro, we have oval tracks everywhere. I mean, there's a couple oval races a week easily to go run at in this area. But mainly I wanted to do road racing. I mean, I want to get my road racing license and everything for big cars. But I figured the legend car is a great place to start for the money I have into it. Because next week I'm hoping to get in, or in 2 weeks, hoping to start my first time on the track at a race at the Charlotte Cookout Series down the Charlotte Motor Speedway at the small oval inside the track. And what I realized is with the legend car, you can dirt oval it, asphalt oval it, and road race it. Now, when it comes to the dirt stuff, a lot of people tell me you don't want to run a dirt car and swap it back and forth because they just get banged up, and that's not the way to go. And honestly, like as much as I love watching dirt racing, that's actually probably my favorite type of oval racing. I don't think that's the route I'm going to go. I'm mainly looking to go after oval, asphalt oval, and road racing. And this is the car I'm going to do it in because I checked with SEC and a lot of racing schools. They allow you to take racing schools in the legend cars. And with the iNext race series, you don't need a license. So there's several road races that I could race in Charlotte. I've seen them down in Atlanta. I think West Virginia at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think it's Old Dominion Racetrack has a road race for these, but there are road races around. So my goal is to do as many ovals to enjoy oval. I would say like as far as oval to race, I'm probably like 25% into oval, and whatever the math is for the rest is what I love about road. Is how much I've been to road racing. So, I want to do some oval racing, just get some seat time in the car. And that's where this comes about is the legend car is just seat time. Looking at it, I can almost race every weekend this summer, the fall, the spring. I mean, there's all types of racing. So this is the route I went. And I didn't just buy a legend car. We're going to get into this in just a second here, but I pretty much bought a team, a full team. I mean, I got the car. I got all these spares. I'm going to show you in a minute, all the tools. I pretty much got everything but a racing seat because the guy I bought it from was way smaller than me, and there's no way I was fitting his racing seat. And then I need my racing gear, which I'm hoping to go down to Mooresville next week to check out a few shops, pick up a racing suit, helmet, gloves, shoes, a Hans device, and pick up a few other things that I need. But a seat, there's just not much I need. And I'm very fortunate after doing years of car shows with Midlife Classic Cars, selling the books. I have a beautiful enclosed aluminum trailer. I've got Honda generators. I've got everything ready to go racing so I can get myself to the track. I have all the tools and everything. So buying a full team with all the accessories and parts I'm going to show you that's screwed out all through here in a minute, I feel like I got a pretty good deal. This is exactly what I was after. I didn't want to buy a car, then have to start collecting parts and collecting stuff. I'm ready to go. I wanted to buy a full team. So this is the route I went. I found one on Facebook page about legend cars. I'll share the link. I think it's Nothing But Legend Cars or something like that, but I'll share the link. They've been very helpful on there, asking a lot of questions and stuff. I've been asking them a lot of questions and helping and advice. So this is the car. How I found it was on that Legends page. I had to drive from Greensboro to Ohio to go get it. Now, one thing I want to talk about buying a car, and there's a lot of people were complaining about the price this guy had on the car. But a lot of the people, and this is something I'm telling you younger guys, you've got to take the time to go after the details. Because I think a lot of people didn't take the time to read what all came with the car. And they're bitching about the price, but they're bitching about the price of the car. And a lot of people were saying, oh, for that money, you can buy a new car. Which is true. A lot of them were true, but they weren't considering tax. They weren't considering shipping. And once you see the level this car is built, this is definitely built a little bit nicer than the cars that are actually built down in Charlotte. Now, when I say nicer, it's obviously the same chassis and engine and everything, but you can tell like the gas fittings and the shifter, everything's a little bit tweaked and nicer on this car. Like a little bit nicer quality stuff was spent, money was spent on nicer quality things for the car. And everything. And I went down to iNext and talked to them about purchasing a car. I've checked out their facility. Really awesome people. Really took the time to show me around and show me what they had. I went with my father. It was a great time. I should have shot some video there, but I was really trying to take in knowledge and learn from them. So about buying the car, a lot of people were complaining about the price, and the guy had charts, but even not charts, but a paper in there that was showing everything he had with the car. And I just don't think that people took the time to read it and cost calculate that. I mean, I've got scales that are worth, I think, $1,500 that came with it. And because of that, I did negotiate that guy down a little bit, but I think it was a fair price because when I calculate everything, it's well over what I spent. And everything's pretty much brand new. So that's the first thing. When you're buying something online, take the time to read everything and ask for more pictures. He only posted a few pictures, mainly of the car and a few of the parts, but I asked for a lot more detailed pictures. And that's when I saw there's so much more coming with the car that he didn't even put in there. I mean, a good example is I got a brand new Easy Up. easy up with side curtains, one of the thermal ones, so it'll keep the heat off of you, and everything. That wasn't really in the listing, but when I was there, that came with it. So a lot of people, you don't take the time to read ads. I sell things on Facebook marketplaces. You can just tell people is this available? Or, oh, you're too expensive, just trying to get the price down without actually taking the time to look at what they're saying is too expensive. I think I got like 15 rims with this. 15 rims. The amount of shocks I got. I think I've got 6 or 5 pumpkins for the rear end, all different geared, and only one of them, the one that's in the car, has ever been used. I'll show you those in a minute. All of those are brand new. So because I think of the price and people not taking the time to read the listing, I feel like I came out with a good deal as far as buying a complete package ready to go. Hey, Lucas, let's not lick our leg. Look. See, his legs are getting out, they're sore, and he licks them a bit. Come on, no licking, buddy. So that's where I was purchasing the car with him. Another thing, I'm going to tell you, there's some of my favorite type of people out there. And the guy that owned the car before me is 100% this type of person. I've met younger guys this way, but especially older guys that are extremely anal. That's who this guy was. I mean, this car is detailed. I can barely find any dust on the car whatsoever. It's barely been raced. I think it's only been raced, 8 races ever, all asphalt. But the guy, he was just immaculate and clean and everything. When I got there, his shop was that way. I mean, his trailer was immaculate. Everything was in its place, mounted on the wall. I'm going to replicate a lot of this stuff, and I'll post some of the video of his trailer. I asked permission. He said I could share it. But like, look at the person that you're buying from and look at his shop. Like when I see people that are selling a car and their shop's messy, like you can kind of see my shop's messy right now, it makes me wonder what type of work they do. This guy's shop was immaculate. His trailer was immaculate. So like even me saying that, I don't know if I'd buy a car for me just looking at a messy shop. But if you look at his shop, it was nice. And he was just wonderful to deal with. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better experience purchasing a vehicle. I feel like we both made out good on the deal with what he was trying to get. But yeah, always look for someone that's very anal, someone that's very clean and very put together and stuff. And that's the type of people I like to buy vehicles from. I don't like to buy basket cases. I'll buy a parked car and fix it up. I've done it with a lot of BMWs and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted something turnkey ready. I didn't want to have to do a lot of work to get this on the track. And so I'd always recommend looking for that type of man or woman that's anal. They're the best people to buy a car. They might be some of the hardest to negotiate with, but usually those are the best people to buy cars from, in my personal experience, versus people that are slobs. So my father and I really appreciate it from my father and my mother for letting him go with me. We drove in one day from Greensboro all the way up to Ohio, worked out the deal, loaded it all up. The guy, his wife, they were just so sweet, took very good care of us. And then him and I drove back in one day. So I was beat. That's been last week, and I'm still trying to catch up on sleep from the trip. So the goal is in the couple weeks coming that I am going to take this, get it ready for the track. There's a test day for the cookout. I'm trying to get to the track by then. I don't know if I can get the suit and everything, but just to get on the track. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a dumb guy. Like I do dumb things. I used to race motorcycles. I've rock climbed a long time, part of my life, skydiving and everything. But after my wreck that I had in a car, and I'll show you some pictures of it. I got trapped in a car for over an hour while the firefighters that saved my life were cutting me out of the car. And I don't even know if I was in there the whole hour, but I was conscious for the whole time. And ever since then, I don't enjoy being in tight spaces anymore. My family, we went to Dollywood. I'm a big Dolly Parton fan, and we went to Dollywood this past year. And honestly, I realized I didn't care for roller coasters anymore. I've always been a roller coaster fan, but just being confined. So a few weeks ago, I went to go see a friend of mine run in West Virginia. He did an ultra marathon or whatever they're called, but it's off-road running. He's an off-road runner. And because I'm fat and I don't run, I rented a dirt bike and had a guy take me all around West Virginia, the New River Gorge area I used to rock climb at. I used to do a lot of rafting there. and he drove me around for 8 hours on a motorcycle, and I felt good about it. Like, I realize I'm kind of done with motorcycles. Riding on the highway is just not enjoyable to me anymore. But it got my confidence back that I'm ready to get back doing stuff, because I definitely have that thing inside me that's like, I want to race. I want to be competitive against other people. I want to be competitive against myself. And so I have that in me. Like, I want to go fast. I love the adrenaline. And I think this is the way I'm going to do it. So the goal is for the next year or so, I'm going to do this and maybe do a few racing schools and try to get my full automotive license and get into a car, or a full-size car. Probably sell this off and get into a full-size car, whether it be vintage racing or some other form of racing out there. That's the goal. And so to help me get better, I'm going to start posting some more iRacing videos soon. I'm going to focus on only racing legend cars. I think one problem I've always had with iRacing is it's so fun to jump between series and race. And so I'm going to focus on the on the legend cars in iRacing, and just get as much time in there. Because I will say the iRacing, it works. Because as someone that did a lot of track days and I raced a little bit of motorcycles, like it's so accurate. Like, so it really helps you learn a track. And while it's not the exact feel of a real vehicle, you get the idea. Like it helps with your learning curve. So soon I'm gonna be posting more iRacing videos. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos of what it's going to take me to get this up and running and getting out on the track for the first time, and how I feel. Like, I even had to tell my father and be honest with myself. Like, I might get out there. I spent a fair amount of money on this. I might get out there and realize, like, I can't handle the restraint of being in the vehicle. And so I did look at doing a test day, but the test day is to rent a team is roughly around $1,500. The problem is I had a hard time finding a team that would have a seat to fit me. And you got to go buy all the helmet and suit and shoes and everything just to go to a test day. So that's easy. If you go the cheap route, that's easily $1,000 right there for the gear. And so you're looking at, let's say $3,000 to go do a test day. And part of when I bought all this, I realized, hey, if this does not work out, instead of selling this as a bulk package, I could sell this all individually and then sell the car and maybe even make a little bit of money doing that. So that's just the way I'm a business person, the way my mind thinks of just always like the money aspect of it, especially when it's racing. And I'm always thinking about, like, how can I keep this cheaper instead of spending more money? For example, I don't have a fan in the shop. I need a shop fan in here. And my dad was sending me I said, I need a shop fan. He was sending me like $300 fans. I told him, I'm one of the $50 60-year-old used fan. Maybe you can't have children around it because there's no covers for the blade. Every little thing right now, I'm trying to save money on to get it to get on the track and everything. So that's pretty much my goal and my intent with this. I'm hoping that I have a fun time. I'm hoping that, it doesn't get to me after being in the wreck. And I was thinking, even if this is all I ever do, after watching a lot of the road racing series and watching the oval racing, even if this is all I do, I think I'm going to be satisfied. If I don't make it into big cars, these are so much fun. They're so loud. Another thing is, it's a bigger go-kart, and I grew up with Michael Schumacher, watching F1 with Michael Schumacher. I think this interview's been out there forever. And it's basically someone asked him, what's his favorite thing to drive? And he says go-karts. He's like, the most sensation and the most fun is go-karts and everything. They're not as finicky to drive as the F1 car, and they're just more fun. And this is nothing but the next thing up from a go-kart and everything. So a few things I want to show you. This is the book the guy gave me. This is everything he's done on the car is pages. It's every part and the part number and everything. I should have put this in the section where I was talking about how anal the guy was. And I mean that in a totally complimentary way. But he has all of his settings in here. It's got every little add-on that he's added to the car, the Casso tack guide and everything of how to use the tack. This is just wonderful. And I'm going to replicate this. I'm going to make my own book to go after and stuff. So one other thing before I start showing you around, showing you a few other things, I just want to take time to please ask to subscribe. It really helps. And leave a comment. Tell me what you think or how you would go about racing. Or, I mean, tell me if you think I'm a fool to get into racing doing this. I mean, I love telling people tell me I'm dumb. I mean, if this is dumb, maybe it is, but I think I'm going to have a great time. Another thing is always check out our website, Midlife Classic Cars. These are the books I'm reading right now. I read them when I was younger. These are the Carol Smith books. This is Prepare to Win. We sell them all in a box set, but Tune to Win, Drive to Win. What is this one? Nuts, Bolts, and Fasteners. This book here, you have to read. This is the book that made me realize I was an idiot when I was younger and wasn't using proper bolts and nuts. This is the book that taught me about how to use Zeus fasteners. It tells about tension strength and everything. Like, if there's any one book I would get, is this one here. So when we sell all these as a box set, there's one other one that I don't have in my lap. It's Engineer to Win. And he has a little book too that's like when you're on the track and you come off the track and they say, hey, the car is pushing, you look up, you know, car's oversteering. Let's say the car's oversteering. You look up oversteering and it tells you what could be causing it and how to adjust it and everything. That's a great little book to have. Another thing I want to remind you is any book you purchase from Midlife Classic Cars, we ship in a box. This is our boxes. We never ship our books in envelopes. If you order priority, it comes in a priority box, but this is our standard box. It's got our logo on here, so always remember that. Everything we ship is in a box. And we still have a bunch of Midlife Classic Car t-shirts on our website. And on the back, it's got our logo with 1 foot on the grave and 1 foot on the throttle, which I think perfectly sums up what I'm trying to do here. Like I'm 40, I'm 45. I'm not quite dead yet. I still want to do things. And the guy I bought the car from was 70 plus, and he was still racing. So he's a big inspiration to me. So, yeah, this is my plan. So I'm going to get to it, show you some of the extra things that came with the car, everything that came with the car. I'll give you a shot of my trailer and some of the things in there. But I'm really excited. I hope you understand this is why I started RC videos at first. I want to see if I still want to travel and set up a booth or set up a tent and everything. That's why I did the RC videos earlier last year, and to see about just, hey, do I even want to do travel and race and everything? So if you would check out those videos, but I'm going to stop rambling here. Me and Lucas are going to chill out, and I'm going to give you a little bit of idea of what all came with the car so you can see, you know, what you should be looking for when you purchase. Anyway, be right back. Okay, we're going to go through some of the things that came with the car or the team. So that's the Easy Up ratchet straps are in there, and the stakes. This is just a blanket he gave me that goes down so you can work on the car. And this is what I'm talking about. These are all the shocks that came with the car, and look how this guy, he labeled every single one of them. And not just the shock holders labeled, the shocks are labeled themselves. These buckets have the pumpkins. These are the pumpkins that have never been used. And on each pumpkin lid, he has the ratio on it, so I know what it is. And so all these are brand new pumpkins, extra starters, brand new axle shafts and stuff, brand new set of rear brake setup, spark plugs. This is all a road suspension setup here, or A-arms, I should say. He gave me all of his lubricants that he has and everything he had with it, so then I could replicate all the fluids. I do like to keep fluids the same as the previous owner, if possible. And so he gave me all that. He also put in that book that I showed you and everything, so I can follow that. These are all just extra control arms. And this is like the mounting that he built for his trailer. So this is mounted on the wall, and so that he could just grab it if he got in a wreck. And they're all marked what they are and everything. I mean, this is what I love about people like this. I mean, he's got the dimension and everything and what they are. I got a whole rear axle, unused, with a pumpkin in it. So unused rear axle shaft. This is a whole throttle body and ECU that have been tested and mapped together on a bench. That's a fair amount of money there. He gave me this lift, which I haven't really quite figured out how to use. I've got to call the company that makes it and just ask a few questions. but this will lift the car up out in the pits if I need it. Give me a nice little battery to do it with. And just more stuff that, I mean, all these, more lubricant, just extra box filters. This is the test the tires, seals and bearings. What is this? Another starter for, this was a brand new starter. He gave me one used starter. And these are more lubricants that he uses. The plastic wrap to wrap the tires in. Let's see here. 2 brand new front brake rotors and assemblies. So I think these, yeah, the rotors and the hubs. Here, brand new rear disc brake setup, never used. I need to be a little more careful with these, but these are the gaskets for the rear end. And just stuff like that. Here's a Lexan windshield. And look at this. 2 extra Nerf bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra bumpers front and back. I don't know which is which. I would have to put them on the car, but 6 extra bumpers, drive shaft, fuel lines, brake lines, throttle cable, all the equipment to set up the car for tow and everything like that, and to make sure the car is square. This is a sick tool that he made for himself. This is so you can put an arm bolted in there on the first bolt, and the second bolt slides down here, and you can measure the length of the arm. So before you go on the track, if when you first set up your car, you measure your length, and you write that out on a piece of paper. If you get in a wreck, you can just put this on there and dial it in really quick. I thought that was pretty sick. He made this. The guy was a fabricator, clearly. Extra shocks. I know these are going to be obsolete when the new ones come in, but these are extra shocks and the holder to mount on the wall. The scales, I mean, this thing is insane. So I've got a whole scale system with it. These are wireless scales, so I can do cross weight and all that stuff on it. Jeez, I can't get them out of the box right now for you, but you get the idea. Like, really nice scales. What else is here? Oh yeah, the caster and camber. I mean, this is not cheap. This is the thing. Well, like guys like this, they don't buy the cheap stuff. I mean, this is clearly nicely made. I don't know what the cost of this is, but it feels really nicely made. I need to learn how to properly use it because of, I was playing with it yesterday. All right, here's my trailer. I need to do a lot of work. It's still set up for doing car shows, which we obviously don't do anymore. So a lot of this shelving's going to come up. But I just want to show you all these have rims. He gave me 3 gasoline jugs with it. So I got extra rims galore up here. He gave me the tire racks, which once I get all this old shelving cut down, I'm going to put the tire racks up there. Here's a few more rims. And so you'll see me do a build out of this pretty soon here in the coming months to get it ready for the track. One thing I will say is after unloading and loading the car once, I'm going to have to go get a winch and have a winch put in here. My tie downs are set up for big cars, so I realized I need to put some more tie down spots in here and get a winch to help me load and unload the car. This thing's trivial, but I think it's awesome. It's not that big of a deal. This is actually an engine stand that he had. I think it's great. Could be really nice when I get the engine heads done. But yeah, this is a trailer, and soon we'll have the video on the way of it. Here's a quick little video of the guy's shop that I bought the legend car from. First of all, you notice the wheelies in the background. Looks super cool. That's been in their family since the people's father, and they were in their 70s, so their father bought it brand new. I know that hardtop was worth some money. But anyway, about the legend car, you can see how clean it is and how nice everything is. He's even got padding inside to protect his knees. You can see it doesn't have the seat in it because I couldn't buy his seat. I got the tire covers. I also got covers for the legend car that I mentioned earlier. And this is his trailer. I mean, this thing is just immaculate. Immaculate is nice. Whatever that word is, it's super nice. But I love this. I want to replicate something like this inside my trailer and hopefully going to get started soon. So one other thing he gave me was all of his audio equipment. Push to talk, helmet system and everything here. He gave me 2 race director receivers. I've never used these, so I'm excited to figure these how these work. And several walkie-talkies, or whatever you call these. What are these called? Radios that came with it. So pretty happy with all this. I'm going to take it when I go to get a helmet to make sure it all fits inside the helmet and everything. But that's even more that came with the deal. So that's pretty much where we're at. I just have some work to do to get the car ready, to get it out on the track, and hopefully I'll get to it this week. Yeah, I'm really excited. I really think this is going to be a good way to go. I think Lucas is pretty happy for me. He likes hanging out with me in the shop here. It's going to be a rough one when it's his time for me. That's my best friend, as I said in the video. But anyway, I hope everyone's having a good one. And I'm going to go home and watch the Monaco race, then watch the Indy, and then go watch maybe a little bit of the NASCAR race. But please like and subscribe. And like I said before, leave a comment and check out Midlife Classic Cars for all your book needs and shop manuals. Take care, guys.